This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I'm sitting here with the incredibly patient Alexandrine Roy from Domaine Marc in Burgundy.
Very good. So my domain is a very small familial estate which includes 4 hectares total of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. But the Chardonnay just represents a smaller amount, which is about 10% of the total production we have. So it's mainly Pinot Noir. And so we are working just by the family. My father just took his retirement at the beginning of the year, but he's still helping me so well because we just can't stop when you are doing this kind of work. My mother, she's more involved in the office and papers, and I'm covering all the things, from the vine to the wine, and my boyfriend recently joined me on the estate since March.
Nice. Now, where are the vineyards in Burgundy exactly?
So it is located in Gevrey-Chambertin, and so we have 12 different parcels. And for this small and tiny parcel, we used to produce just 3 cuvées. So the first one is vieille vigne, which means old vines. That's a selection of the oldest vines we have, which are about 70 years old.
Oh.
So it used to produce a very delicate wine in style, but very complex. And then we have Clos Prieur, which is a single parcel located just below some Grand Cru like Mazy-Chambertin.
Yes.
And so that's a village level still, but it is much more than a regular village to me because of this specific location.
I see.
And we have lastly Cuvée Alexandrine, which is my Grand Cru style. I don't have any, so I just try to create one from what I'm having already. And so it's all about a grape selection. It is not a barrel selection, that's a grape selection.
I see.
So I used to go in 6 of my favorite parcels, and I just pick Mirande grapes. So very small and tiny grapes with very small berries, with thick skin, just a little bit of juice, so the ratio is very interesting on these grapes, and so it's kind of naturally concentrated but very elegant wine, very good for aging as well. And so the white Marsanel et Champerdry is made 100% Chardonnay, and it's actually between Fissin and Couchet village,
yes,
which are more at the north of Gevrey-Chambertin, but just 5 kilometers from my place. So everything is so close.
Now, how has the 2010 vintage been shaping up? What are your thoughts on this year's fruit?
I feel very good with this vintage because we have a naturally very small crop with a lot of Mirande grapes. I never saw that before, so I'm very excited because these are the most quality grapes you can wish for your harvest.
Burgundy is seen as being the ancestral seat of Pinot Noir, and that is not in doubt in anyone's mind. However, Pinot Noir is produced rather well in some other parts of the world, and I happen to know that you've been making Pinot Noir outside of Burgundy. Please tell me a little bit about that.
So that's a nice story. That's a meeting between Bob Morris, the owner of Phelps Creek Vineyards, and I, while I was attending to the IPNC, the International Pinot Noir Celebration,
yes,
in Oregon in McMinnville. So we meet each other thanks to a mutual friend. And when Bob Morris tried my French wines, he was so impressed. And he just asked me, it would be great if you could do something for me like this. And I say, well, it's going to depend of the timing, but if we can find a way, yeah, it will be a nice experience. I do not have the pretension to do a Gevrey in Oregon, but I'm going to try to make a classic style, Burgundian classic style for you.
Now, how would you describe the major differences between making a Pinot Noir in Oregon and making a Pinot Noir in Gevrey-Chambertin, or rather, making a Gevrey-Chambertin?
Well, in my place, in my estate in Gevrey, I'm doing everything, including growing grapes. So that's the most part of the work, the growing of the grapes, which represent about 90% of the time we spend. And then, winemaking, it's just easy going because you grow the fruits exactly the way you want to have the style of wine you look for. and I'm looking for classic style, so there's not as much to do in the winery then. Whereas in Oregon, I'm not growing the fruit, so I have to deal with something different, including a higher temperature climate. And for the acidity, that's always a big challenge because I'm looking to keep some acidity in grapes. And in Oregon, that's the biggest part of the challenge. So I used to pick my grapes in Oregon earlier comparing to the resident winemaker over here. And I'm still using the classic method I'm having in Burgundy, so very gentle handling of grapes, natural fermentation with native yeast punching down by foot. So I guess I try to make a classic style, but that's much more challenging for me to have this classic style in Oregon.
Now, how do your family and your neighbours feel about you making wines away in Oregon?
They think probably it was a big challenge for me because I never been working in Oregon before, but I had foreign experience in Australia and New Zealand. So I was thinking it would be a nice spot to try to do some Pinot because I think Oregon is a nice place to try that. So I think they are quite happy for me and quite proud, especially my parents, because that's kind of, recognition of the work I do in my Gevrey Chambertin wine. And so.
Well, Alexandrine, thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today. We look forward to catch up with you. Well, Alexandrine, thank you very much for joining us today at Good Food Revolution. We do look forward to catching up with you again, whether it be in France or in Oregon or perhaps elsewhere in the world. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you.